Okay, thank you, Mr. Cooper, for agreeing to the interview. And what I'd really like to start out with is tell me about your background, like your experiences and how you led up to being principal here at Grundy.
Right. I graduated from Hurley High School in 1987. I
Mhm.
went to Clinch Valley College from 87 to 91, and then came back to it was P.V. Dennis at the time in Grundy, and got my first teaching position back in 1991.
Mhm.
I taught 2 years at P.V. Dennis and then 1 year at Grundy Junior High. And then I was transferred to Whitewood High School, which is now Twin Valley High School. At Whitewood High School, I stayed 4 years as a special ed teacher and a coach and an athletic director.
Mhm.
After leaving Whitewood, I went to Hurley, and that's where I was head football, head basketball, athletic director, baseball coach, any coach that softball and volleyball.
Uh-huh.
And then I stayed there for 28 years, and then I became the principal at Grundy High School 4 years ago.
4 years. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience here because you had a lot of experience over in Hurley, a lot of athletic experience. How has your experience at Grundy been, and how's that different from Hurley?
Well, first of all, I had two great mentors at Hurley. I had Pam Tester and I had Ruth Tester. I was a student coordinator at Hurley High School and student coordinator at Hurley Middle.
Mm-hmm.
I had Pam at the high school and Miss Ruth at the elementary. Two great mentors. So when I stepped into this role, I understood what the issues would be and what the problems and what the protocols would step up and be. Being here at Grundy, it was just like coming. I was scared when I first came here. I was nervous. I'd been from Hurley. I'd always been rivals with Grundy.
Yeah.
But when I came here, I found out people are the same. I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're separated by miles, thousands of miles, or a mountain. People are the same. Everybody expects to be treated the same. They expect to be cared for, and every kid wants to be loved. And I brought that in, and I started this when I came here on 3 principles, and that's what Southern Gap will be. Number 1 is I want to make sure your child is safe. That's my number 1 priority. Safety is my number 1 priority. Number 2, I want them to have the best education possible, and we can do that at Southern Gap. And number 3, I want them to have as much fun in the school setting as possible. But that's the 3 principles that Southern Gap will be relied on.
Now, how many kids, Mark, for your last year did you have here? What was your population 9 through
We were
12?
around 340 plus here, like 345. It's fluctuated before, but we had 345.
Okay. So that's a big gap from
It's a
Hurley.
big gap from Hurley. I came over and I tell everybody, I'd walk down the halls and there was kids throughout the year that I'm like, have I seen that kid before? Where'd that kid come from? But it was different than Hurley. At Hurley, I knew everyone's mom and dad. I knew everyone's grandparents, their aunts and uncles. Here, it was just a fresh start. And I think everybody needs a fresh start every now and then.
Absolutely. So what do you think is going to be your hardest challenge of being principal at the new school?
Well, the hardest challenge I think at the new school is just bringing everyone together and being a cohesive unit. Something that we're going to really stress is it's a family. Mm-hmm. We're no longer from Hurley. We're no longer from Twin Valley, Council, or Grundy. We're leaving that at the door. We are Southern Gap, and we're from Buchanan County, and we're a family. Now, there's dysfunctional families, and we'll be dysfunctional at times, but we're going to be a family. I'm not going to listen to where you were from or who you're from or who your parents are. We're a family, and we're going to run this on love, and we're going to run it on a family atmosphere.
Okay. So you feel like setting culture...
Culture is the number 1 thing, and I think we're going to start that from day 1. Culture, and I think just the cohesiveness and the of not knowing. People coming in and not knowing. There's so many false things out there on the internet. You have all these internet people that out there that wants to throw all these negatives.
Sure.
What we have to offer, Southern Gap, has never been able to be offered in Buchanan County. We can give kids the education that each and every one deserves, and we can individualize that on each person. We've never been able to do that in Buchanan County. This is an exciting time. I tell everybody, do what you think's best. If you think taking your kid here, taking your kid there is the best, do that. But I promise you, when you see what Southern Gap has to offer and how we can offer that, it will be nothing but the best here in Buchanan County.
I think a lot of people aren't aware, like even with the trade school situation, how many kids have to choose between, do I take this college class or do I take a trade? And now that's not going to be an issue because they're not going to have to give up half or the majority of their day.
Well, a lot of the schools, unfortunately, with the distance, have to take a half a day vocational school, so they miss out on maybe a dual enrollment class that they could take at their own school.
Yeah.
Here, they'll walk down the hall for one block and come back and be in a dual enrollment class the next block. They can do that. So we have so many more opportunities, so many more electives that we can offer. And these kids, that's where the fun comes in.
Yeah.
You know, they're not only in all SOL classes like we about have to offer now. They're going to get to have some things that's fun. You know, we're going to have weightlifting, we're going to have choir, band, drama, just different things like that. So these kids have a choice. Parents have a choice to help their kid.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I had 5 straight A girls who were not able to take my DE history class because they really wanted to do trade, and they had been doing that for a couple of years.
Right.
And like I said, when we get to a new school, that's not going to be an issue. They can walk down the hall and take it one block, and then they can take it another.
Exactly.
So, what would be your last word about finishing up here at Grundy and looking forward to Southern Gap?
I'm not going to lie and say it's not been a challenge. It's been a challenge for me because I felt like I have had to run 2 schools for the last year. You know, I spent a lot of meetings for Southern Gap, and I also still have to run Grundy High School and then run it the way that I think it should be run. I think that you have to be there and you have to show the kids that you care. But I'm excited about opening Southern Gap. I'm excited the first day we walk through those doors, and I can give each kid, every kid that comes through that door that first day is going to receive a Southern Gap T-shirt. We're going to take a picture. I've already ordered it. We're going to take a picture, and that picture is going to be in the front office for forever. Yeah. That is the history of Buchanan County and Southern Gap. So what I'm looking forward to is just having a family atmosphere in our students for the first time ever in Buchanan County to be able to offer a quality education, not just on where they live, but being able to come together and get the best education possible.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, Mark, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.